From BlackRock's association with Trump's shooter to the Secret Service, allegedly denying Donald Trump extra security. The new evidence provided by the U.S. Congress reveals information that was previously hidden from us. In this video, we're going to dive into the details of this evidence. Suspicious ties to the assassination. One shocking event that followed the shooting of Trump was the discovery that BlackRock, a multinational investment company with over $9.1 trillion in assets under management, had strong ties with the shooter at Trump's rally. But before we get to that, it's important to know the allegations against BlackRock and its ties to the shooter can be traced to a Texas-based investment company, Austin Private Wealth. Just a day before the attempted assassination of Donald Trump, Austin Private Wealth made a massive financial move. The investment company filed for a put option on 12 million shares of Trump Media and Technology Group. This move, which appeared to be a bet on the company's value dropping if Trump were killed, raised immediate suspicions. Screenshots of the put option from a Bloomberg terminal circulated on social media, causing a frenzy of speculation. However, these screenshots mysteriously disappeared later in the day, adding fuel to the fire. The timing of the filing, just before the assassination attempt, seemed too coincidental to be ignored, and so this investment raised many eyebrows during the investigation. In response to the growing controversy, Austin Private Wealth addressed the rumors on their website. They claimed that the SEC filing, which showed that they shorted a large number of shares of Trump Media and Technology Group, was incorrect and attributed it to a clerical error. They further clarified that they held only 12 contracts, or 1,200 shares, not 12 million, blaming a third-party vendor for multiplying all options contracts by 10,000. They assured that they were reviewing their internal procedures to prevent future errors, but despite their explanation, the timing and nature of the filing continued to look suspicious. The plot, however, thickened when it was revealed that the alleged shooter had appeared in a commercial for BlackRock.
I hope when I retire someday, they say that guy made this place a special place to come to school.
In response to the backlash, BlackRock quickly pulled the ad and condemned the assassination attempt as abhorrent and awful. But this revelation added a new layer of suspicion. Was it a mere coincidence, or was there something more sinister at play? The shooter's appearance in BlackRock's commercial was a startling connection. It raised questions about the extent of BlackRock's involvement and whether there were deeper ties between the investment firm and the shooter. The timing of the commercial's release and its subsequent removal only added to the intrigue. Almost immediately after, conspiracy theorists were quick to link the dots. They pointed to BlackRock's immense influence and its connections to powerful figures like George Soros and the Rothschild family. The timing of the put option filing, the shooter's appearance in BlackRock's commercial, and the subsequent stock price surge all seem just too convenient to be called a coincidence. The connections between BlackRock, Austin Private Wealth, and the shooter were too glaring to ignore. Was this an orchestrated attempt to manipulate the stock market and profit from a tragedy, or was it a series of unfortunate coincidences? The truth remains undefined, but the suspicion lingers. Events before the shooting. Before the shooter, Matthew Crooks, took his position to snipe Donald Trump, it was discovered during investigations that he employed a DJI camera drone to survey the rally site, thoroughly planning his attack. This calculated move allowed him to gather real-time intelligence from the sky. The drone provided Crooks with an overhead view of the rally site, enabling him to map out his strategy with precision. Federal Aviation Administration records reveal that a temporary flight restriction was in place over the rally site for a window of 1 hour and 55 minutes. This restriction is a common practice for securing areas where high-profile events are taking place. However, it remains unclear whether this window was extended or modified, because despite these measures, Crooks managed to bypass the restrictions and fly his drone over the rally site, highlighting a significant security failure. The drone's flight path, likely recorded by DJI, left electronic traces that investigators later uncovered. This digital footprint was a crucial piece of evidence in piecing together the events leading up to the assassination attempt. While it is understandable if the Secret Service claimed to not have seen the drone in the area before the shooting, one questionable detail is the fact that the Secret Service had spotted a shooter targeting Donald Trump 20 minutes before the first shots were fired, yet they did nothing about it. To fully understand the gravity of the events that happened on July 13th, we need to delve into the detailed timeline of the shooting and the response of the Secret Service. At 5:10 p.m., Thomas Matthew Crooks was first identified as a person of interest. He was seen acting suspiciously near the rally site. By 5:30 p.m., Crooks was spotted with a rangefinder, a device used to measure distance. At 5:52 p.m., Secret Service snipers positioned on rooftops around the rally site spotted Crooks on the roof of the American Glass Research Building. This building was outside the security perimeter, but offered a clear line of sight to the rally stage where Trump would soon be speaking. At 6:02 p.m., Donald Trump took the stage to address his supporters. The crowd was unaware of the imminent danger lurking above. Just 10 minutes later, at 6:12 p.m., Crooks fired his first shots. Luckily, the Secret Service counter-snipers reacted acted with remarkable speed, taking down Crooks just 26 seconds after the first shot was fired. Although the Secret Service sniper was quick in his response and neutralized the threat swiftly, it's important to note that all of this would have been avoided if they had just arrested or at least questioned him when he was first spotted. Speaking of events that happened before the shooting, the shooter's father, Matthew Crooks Sr., was deeply worried about his son and made a call to the police when couldn't find him. His son, Matthew Crooks Jr., had been acting increasingly erratic and had disappeared without any advance notice. This call, made out of desperation, was intended to alert authorities to a potential crisis. Matthew Crooks Sr. informed the police that his son had vanished and expressed his fears about his mental state. He mentioned that his son had a history of major depressive disorder and had been behaving unpredictably. All of this were signs of the disaster that was about to unfold, leaving many to wonder if all could have been prevented had the warning been taken seriously. These new findings about his mental health and unpredictability begin to make even greater sense when we take a look at the mind of Matthew Crooks, the 20-year-old assassin, the twisted mind of the shooter. A disturbing discovery in the investigations after the death of Matthew Crooks is that he was a big fan of Ethan Crumbley, the Oxford High School shooter. Crooks' fascination with Crumbley came to light during a meeting with lawmakers, where the FBI and the Secret Service disclosed that they found a picture of Crumbley's mug shot on Crooks' cell phone. This revelation was not entirely surprising to those familiar with the patterns of mass shooters. Steve St. Juliana, whose 14-year-old daughter Hannah was one of the victims of the Oxford High School shooting, remarked that it is well established that shooters often research previous incidents. This pattern of behavior is a chilling reminder of how the notoriety of one shooter can inspire another. Forensic psychologist Colin King, who interviewed Ethan Crumbley, suggested that Crooks may have viewed Crumbley as a mentor. He further stated that Crooks was looking for tips and inspiration from the Oxford case to carry out his own act of violence against Trump. King pointed out that Crooks' extensive research into Crumbley and his parents indicated a deep-seated obsession. Andy Arena, Detroit's former FBI chief, pointed out the similarities between Crooks and Crumbley. Both young men appeared to struggle to fit in and battled mental health issues. The FBI and Secret Service discovered that Crooks had searched for information on major depressive disorder and depressive crisis treatment, conditions that Crumbley was also diagnosed with. This parallel between their mental health struggles adds another layer to the story, highlighting the often overlooked issue of untreated mental illness. The weapons used in both incidents also draw a striking similarity. Crooks used a gun owned by his father to attempt to kill Trump, while Crumbley used a gun bought by his father to carry out the Oxford High School shooting. Crooks' extensive online searches for major political figures and their events further illustrate his thorough planning. He searched for the date and location of the Democratic National Convention and the Butler-Trump rally, where he ultimately carried out his attack. His actions resulted in the death of firefighter Corey Comparatore and injuries to 2 other rally attendees. This level of planning and the choice of a high-profile target suggests that Crooks was seeking the same kind of notoriety that Crumbley had achieved. But it doesn't end there. The investigation grows even darker with a discovery that 5 years ago, a seemingly ordinary high school student from Bethel Park High School in Pennsylvania made a threat that would later foreshadow a much darker future. At just 15 years old, Crooks threatened to shoot up his school, a warning that was dismissed by officials but remembered vividly by his classmates. This threat, coupled with relentless bullying and isolation, set the stage for a horrifying act of violence that would shock the nation. "Don't come to school tomorrow." The Post hinted at bombs being placed in the cafeteria bathrooms, creating an atmosphere of fear and uncertainty among the students. Vincent Tarmina, a classmate of Crooks, vividly recalled the day the threat was made. "Half of us just didn't come to school the next day. I didn't," he said. The fear was real as many students chose to stay home, unsure of what might happen. But despite the gravity of the threat, the school administration dismissed it, failing to take any significant action. This decision would later be identified as a missed opportunity to intervene in Crooks' troubled life. Crooks' high school years were marked by rejection and exclusion. He was barred from joining extracurricular activities, including the school's rifle team. Despite his interest, he was told not to come back after his initial tryout. This rejection was a significant blow to Crooks, who was already struggling with major depression disorder, as later revealed by criminologist Dr. John Sensich from Penn West University. The constant teasing and isolation only deepened his sense of alienation and resentment. The FBI's investigation into Crooks' past also revealed the chilling similarities between his high school threat and the assassination attempt. attempt. Explosive devices were found in Crook's car, parked near the rally grounds, mirroring the bomb threat he made in high school. This connection has become a focal point of the investigation in determining his motives. On the other hand, some other shocking discoveries were made. The FBI launched an exhaustive investigation, scouring Crook's cell phone, computer, home, and car for any clues. What they found was both shocking and puzzling. Among the many things they found were photos on Crook's phone of former President Donald Trump, President Joe Biden, Attorney General Merrick Garland, and FBI Director Chris Wray. These images raised immediate questions about whether these high-profile figures were potential targets in a broader, more sinister plan. Special Agent Kevin Rojek, in charge of the Pittsburgh field office, addressed the media, stating, "We have no indication of any mental health issues." This statement came despite the fact that Crooks had searched for information about major depressive disorder. Investigators have not yet determined whether he was actually diagnosed with the disorder, adding another layer of complexity to the case. As news of the shooting spread, social media platforms were flooded with speculation and conspiracy theories. One of the most sensational claims involved a supposed Instagram account belonging to Crooks, which allegedly contained a bio stating, "Praise the Lord in my quest to end Epstein's sick, evil empire, PA born and bred." This claim quickly gained traction, with many believing it to be evidence of Crooks' vigilante plans. However, multiple fact-checkers, including PolitiFact, debunked this claim. The Instagram account in question was revealed to be a fake, created by an ex-user who had previously pretended to be Crooks. Meta spokesperson Dave Arnold confirmed that the account was a copycat and had been removed for violating the platform's policies. Despite this, the narrative of Crooks as a vigilante on a mission persisted, fueled by the sensational nature of the supposed bio. The FBI launched a comprehensive investigation into the shooting, seeking to uncover Crooks's true motivations and any potential connections to larger conspiracies. So far, the only confirmed social media account belonging to Crooks was on Discord, a platform primarily used by gamers. According to Discord, Crooks' account was rarely utilized and showed no evidence of being used to plan the assassination attempt, promote violence, or discuss his political views. The lack of a significant online presence for Crooks has only deepened the mystery surrounding him. In today's digital age, it is unusual for a young person to have such a limited footprint on social media. This absence has led to widespread speculation and fueled various conspiracy theories, despite the lack of concrete evidence to support them. As the FBI continues its investigation, more details may emerge about Crooks' background and motivations. For now, the public is left to grapple with the shocking events of July 13th and the mysterious Thomas Matthew Crooks. The idea of a young man driven to such extreme measures by a vigilante mission is a compelling narrative, but it is not supported by the facts currently available. Crooks worked as a dietary aide at a nursing home less than a mile from his family's house. A colleague from the nursing home described him as someone who never expressed political views at work and wasn't considered a radical. He was always polite and did his job well. We never had any issues with him. He never talked about politics or anything controversial. The FBI believe Crooks acted alone, but the motive behind his actions remains a mystery. Crooks' political leanings are also a puzzle. He was registered as a Republican voter in Pennsylvania, yet records show he donated $15 to a progressive political action committee on January 20th, 2021, the day President Joe Biden was sworn into office. This conflicting information only adds to the mystery surrounding him. There was also the discovery of MAGA supporting signs in his yard for a while. Neighbors in Bethel Park, a Pittsburgh suburb where Crooks lived, confirmed seeing pro-Trump signs in the family's yard as recently as a few months ago. This revelation has left many baffled and searching for answers. Both of Crooks' parents worked as social workers. His mother is registered as a Democrat, while his father is a libertarian. This diverse political background only deepens the mystery of Crooks' motivations. As investigators continue to piece together Crooks' background and motivations, they are examining every aspect of his life, but social media activity offers little to no insight. With odd and mostly apolitical posts, the shooting has left a community in shock and a nation searching for answers. What drove Thomas Matthew Crooks to such a violent act? But with all these details released, there is still a lot of evidence that has just been recently revealed. Puzzling evidence released after the shooting. Many important details that were previously hidden from the public have recently emerged, and one that stunned everyone was the discovery that Donald Trump was denied extra security by the Secret Service. And with this news out, the agency has come under heavy investigation. It was revealed that over the past 2 years, requests for additional security measures for former President Donald Trump were repeatedly denied, despite escalating threats. The agency repeatedly denied requests for additional security measures for Donald Trump, despite mounting threats and increasing public appearances. crimes. The incident of July 13th exposed Trump's vulnerability and further raised serious questions about the agency's priorities and capabilities, leaving many to wonder how such a breach could occur. Agents responsible for Trump's security detail had been sounding the alarm for quite some time. They requested magnetometers, which are essential for detecting concealed weapons, and additional agents to screen attendees at large public gatherings, including sporting events and rallies. These requests were not made lightly. They were based on credible threats and the sheer volume of people attending these events. However, the Secret Service, citing resource constraints and staffing shortages, turned down these requests. House Speaker Mike Johnson did not hold back in his criticism, describing the Secret Service's response to the assassination attempt as unconscionable. He went further to declare that Director Kimberly Cheadle, head of the Secret Service, is not fit to lead. Pennsylvania Congressman Brendan Boyle echoed these sentiments, becoming the first Democratic lawmaker to publicly call for Cheadle's resignation. Boyle cited unacceptable operational failures and a loss of confidence in her leadership. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. In a shocking revelation, Trump told Fox News that he was not warned of any potential threat before the rally began. According to Trump, Crooks was identified as a person of interest almost an hour before the rally, yet no one informed him of the danger. Wyoming Senator John Barrasso, who attended briefings with lawmakers, confirmed that Crooks was deemed suspicious due to his possession of a rangefinder and backpack. Snipers spotted Crooks on the roof 10 minutes before the rally started and 20 minutes before the first shots were fired. Trump expressed his frustration, questioning how Crooks managed to get on the roof and why he was not reported sooner. Surprisingly, the Secret Service, in a statement provided to USA Today, acknowledged that they had turned down requests for additional resources. Spokesman Anthony Guglielmi stated that in instances where the agency could not provide extra resources, they supplemented security with state and local law enforcement. He emphasized that the Secret Service works in a dynamic threat environment and employs a comprehensive strategy to balance personnel, technology, and specialized operational needs. However, this statement contradicts previous claims made by the agency. On the day after the shooting, Guglielmi had asserted that it was untrue that additional security resources were denied. He took to X, formerly known as Twitter, to refute the claims, stating that the agency had, in fact, added protective resources, technology, and capabilities in response to the increased campaign travel tempo. The Department of Homeland Security, which oversees the Secret Service, also weighed in on the controversy. Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas labeled the accusations as baseless and irresponsible, asserting that the denials were totally false. The denials of additional security for Trump, coupled with the tragic events in Pennsylvania, have raised serious questions about the Secret Service's ability to fulfill its mission. The agency, once revered for its unwavering dedication to protecting American leaders, now faces a crisis of confidence. The outcome of this controversy will undoubtedly shape the agency's future and its approach to protecting those under its charge. To add fuel to this fire, an anonymous online post by an author who describes himself as Jonathan Willis says he is the U.S. The Secret Service sniper who killed the suspect in the assassination attempt of Donald Trump has been shared widely online. He claimed he had the assassin in his sight for at least 3 minutes, but the head of the Secret Service refused to give the order to take him out. However, the U.S. Secret Service spokesperson Nate Herring said nobody by the name Jonathan Willis is employed by the agency, but that little seed of doubt was already flamed into a huge furnace on the internet, and the agency further lost trust with the people. Like this X post with over 27,000 views that reads, "There's a good chance that the Secret Service was supposed to let that guy kill Trump and then kill him. They didn't react until Trump was hit. The police were told about the shooter before he even took a shot. If the Secret Service shot him that quick, that means he already had him in his sights." A video of eyewitnesses at the rally further back this point.
Police are down there running around on the ground. We're like, hey man, there's a guy on the roof with a rifle. And the police were like, huh, what? You know, like they didn't know what was going on. You know, we're like, hey, right here on the roof, we can see him from right here. We see him. You know, he's crawling.
A full breakdown on the timeline of the events of that also verifies these claims. At 5 p.m., a young man is seen pacing around the edges of the rally area, looking at the buildings, acting suspicious. Rally members capture his image on their cell phone. At 5:20 p.m., local law enforcement officers took notice of Crooks, who was carrying a backpack and a rangefinder. They radioed their concerns and snapped a photo of him. However, Crooks vanished shortly after, and the image was circulated among officers stationed outside the security perimeter. At 5:40 p.m., law enforcement enforcement spotted that man again, about 20 minutes before the shooting. 6:02, Trump takes the stage to the strains of God Bless the USA. He waves at the cheering crowd and begins his rally speech. As Trump is speaking, Secret Service two-person sniper teams can be seen positioned on rooftops behind the stage, looking in opposite directions. At around 6:09, witnesses reported seeing a man climbing onto the roof of a one-story building closest to the stage. He then set up his AR-style rifle and lay on the rooftop, a detonator in his pocket to set off crude explosive devices that are stashed in his car parked nearby. The roof where Crooks lay was an estimated 147 yards, 135 meters, from where Trump was speaking. 6:11, Trump, still speaking, turns to his right to point towards a screen displaying border-crossing numbers when 3 shots are heard. As the first shot rings out, Trump says, "Oh," raises his hand to his right ear and looks at it before quickly crouching to the ground behind his lectern. Secret Service agents rush to the stage and pile atop Trump to shield him. Rally-goers scream, crouch down, and run away as heavily armed law enforcement officers surround the stage. Seconds after the first 3 shots, 5 more shots ring out in rapid succession. Unfortunately, Corey Comparatore, a 50-year-old former fire chief attending the rally, is shot and killed. Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro said Comparatore used his body as a shield to protect his wife and daughter. 2 other spectators were severely wounded. Trump obviously survived only by the luck that his head was slightly turned to the left. A diagram shows that his fortunate tilt at the right moment was the saving grace, causing the bullet to clip his ear instead of striking his head. As the investigation into the Trump shooter continues, we can only hope that the Secret Service and government agencies do their due diligence and expose any other hidden